I transitioned there, I ended up getting an Army scholarship. So shout out to all the ROTC in the building. I got an Army scholarship at Clark Atlanta University. And one of the biggest things that I had no idea about was how to take care of my money in college. It was like hustle mode. And this is going to be the best panel because you have some people that I'm actually going to learn from. I'm going to ask some questions that I actually want to know in my life. I'm 21 years old. And as a business owner, it's definitely not easy keeping up with your finances and making sure that things are in order. So if I was y'all, I would take out my phones. I would make sure I'm taking some notes. Who in here feel like, okay, but I could be the first millionaire in my family? Okay, so pretty confident, right? And if you're not confident, the goal is by the end of this panel, you have a clear understanding. If you don't want to be a millionaire, that's fine, but how can we at least be financially stable? All right, is that good? All right, so we're going to let the panelists introduce themselves. Just tell them who you are, what school you went to. They don't like the rival schools, so you don't want to get jumped in here. This maze now. So your name, where are you from? City, and what schools did you go to, and pretty much a little bit about yourself. Ladies first.
Y'all like how they did that, trying to make it seem like they're being courteous, putting me on the spot first, but that's okay. I'll take it. So good morning. Good morning. Definitely glad to be here with you all. My name is Lisa Tolliver. And I actually grew up here in Georgia. I'm not sure about my fellow panelists here, but I did grow up here in Georgia, in Metro Atlanta. I did not do high school in Atlanta proper, however. I graduated from Meadow Creek High School, which is in Norcross, Georgia, in Gwinnett County. Although I claim the deck because I grew up in Decatur. And then we moved, devastated me during high school. We moved 10th grade, we moved, and I had to change and go to a whole new school in a whole new county. And I thought my world was ending, but it worked out fine. Anyway, and I stayed in Georgia, so I'm truly a Georgia girl. I went to the University of Georgia. So I am a UGA graduate, both for undergraduate school. I have a business marketing degree from there, and then I decided after I started working full-time to pursue a graduate degree. So I also have a master's degree from the University of Georgia as well. So glad to be here.
Okay, let's clap it up.
Well, I was supposed to share, I guess, about my job too. You said a lot about school, but so I work for Bank OZK, and it's just the letters OZK. Doesn't stand for anything, but it is our stock tickler, OZK, for those of you who are already learning about investing in stocks, OZK. So we are headquartered out of Little Rock, Arkansas, but we are in 7 different states. Outside of Arkansas, Georgia is actually the state we have the most offices and employees outside of Arkansas. And I am the community development manager for the state of Georgia for my bank. And so in a nutshell, what that means is I get the pleasure of connecting the bank to the community and making sure that we are very intentional about how we share our resources and our funding and so forth with the community, especially in underserved communities. So I love that part about my job, and I'm glad to be here once again. I'm going to pass it back to you.
Absolutely. Let's clap it up for that.
I'll go next. Good morning. How y'all living? Good morning. My name is Curtis J. Go ahead and write that down because I'm going to ask y'all some questions later. So it's Curtis J. I'm actually not from Atlanta. I'm from the little A. Y'all heard? Yeah, not Atlanta. I'm from Augusta, Georgia originally. Come on now. Okay, but yeah, the AUG. And so I went down to school. I graduated from Richmond Academy in Augusta and then went down to school at the Georgia Southern University. Anybody know about Georgia Southern in here? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So a little quick story about me. Went down to school there. I being honest, I didn't think I was going to graduate, but I did. I started a entertainment company. Anybody like to party in here? Okay, see? So I started an entertainment company. We had a lot of success. Fast forward the story, came up here to Atlanta, continued doing what we were doing, had a lot of success here, and turned our entertainment company to a holding firm. Nonetheless, let's just be honest. How many people have a favorite artist in here, right? Favorite artist, okay? How many people have ever heard of artists going broke? Exactly. So those are my friends. Those are my peers. And so I started to see that by hosting concerts for them all over the country. And I wanted to do something about it. And so I realized if I taught them about how to better manage their money and the funds that were coming in, they could live a better life and not go broke. And so I actually developed a passion about educating the community on how money works and finances and management and investments. And so I've been rocking and rolling doing that. And so I get to wake up every single day and do what I call music and money. So I plan to talk to you guys and give you guys some nuggets about that.
Good morning, good morning. The old man gonna go last. My name is Daryl McIver. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Graduate of Southern Illinois University and John Marshall Law School here in Atlanta. Been here in Atlanta since '94. Both of my kids are APS graduates. One attended Dub, the other attended North Atlanta, I'm sorry. And my daughter's a proud graduate of Kennesaw State in a couple of weeks. I've been with my bank for 18 years. I'm a senior vice president in community development for the state of North Georgia and Alabama. So we kind of play in the same arena. And what I will share with you all, I won't give my bank commercial because we used to be SunTrust, now we're Truist. We used to be SunTrust and BB&T, we merged. And all joking aside, this is without question the most important seminar they have here today. Because there is nothing that you do in this lifetime that isn't touched by money. From church, you got to tithe, you got to pay rent, you got to pay mortgage, you got to find a way to live. You're in the best spot right now. The best spot.
That's good. That's good. So that was deep. So let's give a hand clap to iHeartRadio for streaming live. So check this out. So the schools that y'all don't like, they're actually streaming live right now on these little cameras, so they can pretty much see us. So y'all better stop talking crazy. Well, they can't see y'all, but they can see us right now. So Doug, Kip Atlanta Collegiate, they can't see y'all, but they can hear us right now. So let's get to the first question. Listen. And I thought about the questions that I was gonna ask. You know, I'm pretty much the closest to you guys' age group, and I know that college is on the way. Who's going to college right after this? Okay, shout out to college. And I'm gonna tell you this, right? When I went to college, I went to Clark Atlanta University. It's an 88% women school, right? So I wanted to be fire. Like, I wanted all the money I was getting for the returns and stuff like that, I was spending on clothes and shoes. So for you all, what are your ideas behind not only just saving money, but not wasting money just to look good? Because typically that's all we see on Instagram, social media, like, yo, we get $200, $300, okay, bet we need to go get some shoes because they looking 88% women's school. Okay, we got to get lit now. So what are you guys' tips on that?
Y'all gonna start over here. Tips on that. First of all, well, you're in college. Historically, you're gonna be broke. Unless you're hitting your parents up every week. And I think that's why my daughter stayed at Kennesaw, because she could be close to home. But do a balance. Get what you need, not what you want. Because you're gonna need that money to close the gap at some point. And college is a transition from childhood to adulthood, and part of your responsibility to your parents, and it's the father in me talking now, not the banker, is to not be in their pocket every time you need something. If you get something, keep more than you spend. And there are enough creative places around Atlanta where you can look fly and not be broke. Because it's okay to look fly, but if ain't nothing in the pocket. And then when you need them books or you need them ramen noodles, you got to call moms or you got to call pops, but your kicks is fly. Or you want to take your girl out, but you can't because guess what? You spend it all on your shoes. So strike a balance. That's just me.
Okay. I'll jump in. So write this quote down. Okay, we'll type it on your phone. Here it goes.
It's 2022 now. We don't write no more.
So here's what I tell people. If you don't save money, money won't save you. All right, I'm say it again. If you don't save money, money won't save you. So here's some tips for you, right? Because you guys have a lot of opportunities to actually make and generate money. So I would say, you know what? It's twofold. One fold is mindset. The other end is what? Money. So if you can adjust your mindset to say, let me ask you guys a question really quickly here. Who has a best friend to go to this school? Okay. What's her name? Adriana. So let me ask you this here. Do you know what she wore 5 months ago? What were the color of her shoes she wore 5 months ago? White. What brand? Because that's her favorite one. But guess what? You guys are unique, right? That's like your twin. But for majority of everyone else, how many people do you see every single day? Do you remember what they wore 2, 3, 4 weeks ago? You don't. So if you get in your mindset and say that, you know what? When I put on clothes, it's for me and it's for my own drip, right? And so therefore, you can spend whatever you want to spend on it as long as what? You're happy. Because what happens is that we make emotional decisions and we spend our little money because we want to impress other people, right? Let's just be honest. But at the end of the day, once you reach that point where you say, guess what? This person's not even going to remember that I wore the same jeans twice this past week. And that's okay, right? But once you get to that point, because I understand you're dealing with social media and you think you got to have on all these clothes and keep up and everything, really, honestly, you guys, no one cares. No one cares. So get over that emotional standpoint, I say, that mindset end. And on the money end, guess what? There's so many different resources out here, from Fashion Nova, from this and that, just Shein, right? Especially, you see the little you seen that TikTok? You be like, shoes from Shein, But understand, you can look good on a budget. And so here's what I would tell you. Say you bring in $20, right? $2 of your $20, say you save up for a new drip. Is that safe to say? So the whole thing about it is like taking it one step at a time, bite size. And once you build it up, now you're like, all right, I got $50 or $60 right now for my drip fund. I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna go to Shein, versus I'm gonna take this whole $20 and go to Shein. Make sense? So I would say start small and focus on your mindset.
That's good. Clap it up for that, y'all.
I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to go to the next question. I mean, I would really just underscore what they say. And, you know, it's about priorities, right? Everything. Whether you're going to be in college once you finish high school, or starting to work full time, or going to the military, you're going to have expenses. That's life, because life isn't free, right? But it's prioritizing. So, you know, if you decide it's most important to have the attire, like you said, figure out how to make that happen. Hopefully you have some income though, right? So, you know, find a way to monetize. You all are talking about entrepreneurship and so forth. So, you know, some of you, maybe you know how to braid hair, or you can do lashes, or you can detail cars, whatever it is, you know, try to make sure your income is supporting that. Because if not, all that just for show stuff is just for show and doesn't mean anything. You know, it comes down to what you equate money to. And in my personal opinion, money to me equates to freedom, right? Doesn't matter how much you have, it's about how much you keep, or how much you get is about how much you keep, right? And what you do with it. So when I say freedom, I don't mean most people aren't Bill Gates, or you said Beyonce, right? That's not most people. But you don't have to have that to have freedom, right? Freedom means, you know, not being stressed out by, oh, I want money to do these things that really at the end of the day don't matter. Right? So what does money mean to you? Does it mean to have more free time? Does it mean to be cute? Right? Does it mean, you know, to be able to put money into your business? What does it mean to you? And think about that and help you prioritize to what they just said about who you're asking for money, what you're spending it on, and how much. Balance it out.
Y'all clap it up for that. Y'all, you losing energy. I thought you was gonna have the energy for me. There we go. All right, so that was really interesting. So I want to keep it pretty much, you know, focused on the next step. I remember like being in high school, and I wasn't even like college. I just ended up in college, really, honestly. So I was thinking so much about, okay, what am I going to be when I'm 40? What am I going to be when I'm 50? How am I going to look like? And it was just like, everybody was looking at me like, calm down. Like, what are you talking about? So when it comes down to the idea of the you-know-it-all culture, right, which is pretty much us. We feel like we know it all. When you guys went to college, there were certain things that you guys did not know. Like, I know in my household, we didn't talk about credit. We didn't talk about taxes. We didn't talk about a lot of things. But there's a lot of people here that have a business idea. And you guys have, 3 bankers sitting right here. I don't know if you guys signed the checks, but you signed the loans. Well, I mean, these are people that literally you could get access to fund your business. And I had no idea. I got out the mud for business. I was like, look, let me get money from people, but we were never trained on how to get money from banks. So what would necessarily be the tips on how, even at this age, 18 years old, going into college, how can we start preparing ourselves to come to the bank and say, listen, I need $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to start my business at 18 years old?
Well, I would say first you have to become financially literate personally. Get your personal house in order first. One of the biggest things, one of the worst things happened to me when I first got on the college campus was, I'm not going to even mention the bank's name, but they were on campus just handing out credit cards. And what we didn't know was, you can buy that pizza, you can buy that beer, you can buy whatever you want, but that bill is due at the end of the month. And we had no concept of credit. And so I think it took me 2-3 years to get rid of that pizza and that beer and all of that I bought that freshman year. So I would say, one, first become personally financially literate. And that means using the online products. I know you all probably have products here at Mays. And if you don't, the FDIC has products. If you don't, we have products. You all have products. Become personally financially literate, because you got to have your house in order first before you come to a bank asking them for any money.
What do you mean when you say products?
When I say products, like banking products, like how to do budgeting, what is credit, how does it work, what's a DTI, what is an asset, what is an asset, what's a balance sheet, what's a return on inventory. These are all financial literacy terms, but these are things that you need to learn both on the personal side and on the business side before you come to the bank. So just like you get a regular education from high school to college, you need to get a financial education first. So you need to understand what it is that you're asking me for, because I'm going to ask you a certain set of questions. If you come to me and say, I need $20,000, so I'm going to ask you for the spreads on your business. If you can't give me that, I'm going to tell you don't have a business, you have an idea. So educate yourself, because once you come to me, I have to go to credit, or I have to look at one of the organizations I'm funding and say, well, go over here, they can help you because I put $100,000 over there with them. I'm not going to send you over there if I ask you for your spreads and you look at me like with deer in headlights. I'm like, no, you got a great idea, but you're not ready. Educate yourself first.
Y'all clap it up for that. So you can miss out on money just by not having your stuff together. So I know we don't write or nothing, we don't prepare as much, but he just really explained how easy it is, or how so many people are missing out on money just by not having just paperwork, simple paperwork together and ideas. But
yeah, so again, smart man, right? Before you think about money for your business, it's really going to start with how you're managing money for you personally, right? So if you don't have a checking account, why are you starting with going to a bank asking for money for your business, right? If you don't have any money in savings in a financial institution, not on Cash App, not stored somewhere on your phone, or crypto where you think you're making a ton of money, but legit, financials of your own to show you have a good history, then your business, like you said, looks like an idea. You have to have a plan and what's together. So we always say start with, when he says your house, he's talking about you as an individual and how you're managing money. That's the best thing you can do to set things up. And also, too, if you're thinking you need money for your business, why? what is it that you want to do, right? Maybe you don't actually need a business loan yet. Maybe you just need a few friends to donate some items to you, or to let you borrow, $100 each or something like that, or to get the credit card. Credit cards are not a bad thing. It's if you handle them badly or poorly, right? But the only thing better than your own money is other people's money, right? So when I say that, I mean being able to borrow from a bank, or, whoever is managing that credit card for you, which really is a bank, no matter what the name is on it, Macy's or the gas station or whatever, right? So so having that together. And so I heard somebody say, when you mentioned, look at the tools that are there, and you mentioned the FDIC, and you're like, to know what this is, to know what that is. And I think somebody said, to know what is FDIC. I'm curious, does anybody know? It's an institution. Do you know what FDIC stands for? Anybody know?
Take a guess. For $20.
It's tied to banking. FDIC. Federal is the first word. You got 3 more letters, though. There you go, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So I don't know if you knew that or if you Googled it. Hey, that's okay. You know what we're talking about today? Using your resources. No one said you had to know it by heart, right? We're here to talk about using your resources. And, gentlemen like this who has a great entrepreneurial background and is connected to organizations, hey, banks, we're resources for you. We're service providers, right? So don't look at a bank as somebody I need to go to and be worried about. No, we're here to help you. Right? We're service providers, just like going to a restaurant. The people at the restaurant need you to come in to keep them in business. So do banks. And we have a responsibility on top of that to make sure you're educated and informed. And like he's saying, that's part of my job too, is if you're not ready, well, we want to talk to you about why you're not, and then point you to these organizations, Young Entrepreneurs Foundation. There's a group called Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs that does lending to small business owners or new entrepreneurs who can't get a loan from a traditional financial institution. So there's these organizations that exist, right? So things like he said, understanding financials and what's out there, knowing who the FDIC is significant. Reason being, that keyword insurance, and then tying that to on your deposits. That is the institution that makes sure that whatever money you put into the bank, that if the bank fails, you can still get your money. So you don't have to worry about, I got to put my money in a shoebox in my bedroom or whatever, because something may happen to the bank. The FDIC is who ensures whatever happens to that bank, your money is okay. We'll make sure you still have access to it, right? It's things like that are important to know, especially if you're going to be a business owner. Whether that business is actually a company where you sell products or services, or your business is the business of yourself and your household, right? You should want to know your money's protected. So it's understanding those fundamentals and utilizing those resources. There's modules, there's podcasts, there's so many things that are available. So pay attention and use your resources. It pays off. I think it literally did. You give him some money just now for that?
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
$20.
That's how life works. You got to reach
move
out.
fast.
And I'm sorry, before you start, so if you go out to the FDIC website, go under education, the education component, they have both an individual literacy track and a business track. It's free. So it costs you nothing. Download it.
So I'll just touch in. So I'm coming from a non-banker, right? How many people want to be business owners or entrepreneurs right now? Or thinking about it? Okay, perfect. So I'm coming from the person who didn't know those terms, who had to go through the heartache and the issues, right? Because I didn't know how to proper, P&L statements and everything of that nature. I know I had an idea.
Who knows what P&L means?
Right. Exactly. Foreign, right? Profit and loss statements, right? But what I would tell you, if you want to get funding from a traditional institution, the best thing you can do, yes, become financially, educated yourself, but also really focus on making your business a business and not just a hobby. So quick question, do you make money in a business or hobby typically? A business, right? But most people treat their business like a hobby. Like they do it sometimes, or when they feel like it. So if you really want to have a true business that you can equate to money coming in, rolling in, where it's just freedom for you, like you talked about earlier, you have to make sure you take that business, from your heart to your head, right? And really transition to being a real business that you want to get funding for. And the easy way to do that, to build up money, I would say go to a traditional banking institution. You want over 50 grand. Anything under that, let's focus on making sales. Sales help you understand the key metrics of your business going forward. So if you braid hair, if you sell stuff on Amazon, you sell stuff online, if you sell candy right here in the hallway, just making sure you know your numbers like they were saying, and you can actually have a vision for it going forward. So that's what I would say. Focus on the sales, become financially educated, and make sure it's actual real business.
All right, energy check. There we go. All right, so these are some really great answers. I mean, like, y'all should be getting a lot of gems on, what to do next, right? So where are my talented people at, right? You play football, you sing, you dance. Okay. Ooh, okay.
Throwback. That's a throwback.
So, there's some people in the audience right now. They're not going to be in a traditional business, but they're going to make a lot of money, right? Like our football players and our basketball players. And like you said earlier, a lot of people, they go broke. And, it's sad, but sometimes that is the way to learn. So for the people that are going to get, who's going to be a millionaire in their family? Okay, so everybody out here, how are we going to get the $1 million? We don't know. We don't need to know how, but we just know it's coming. So we need to figure out, okay, bet, if we all got a check right now for $1 million, what's the first thing that we need to do with it?
First of all, don't ask anybody who doesn't have $1 million what to do with your money. Unless they work at the financial institution, and even then, right? But if your circle doesn't know, they're not the best resource. They may can give you some suggestions that are helpful, though. Listen, but you want me to literally answer that question of what to do with the $1 million? Because I was going to start someplace.
If I go find a bag of $1 million right now, because I know I got to buy mama house, grandma, auntie, cousins, everybody going to be lit.
Well, if you find the bag, be careful because somebody's looking for you and their money. So you might want to go into hiding. But if you earned $1 million or you won $1 million, please go to a financial institution. I don't care which one. The credit union, Truist, Banco ZK, Chase, Merrill Lynch, whoever. Go and you don't have to leave all your money there. I'm just saying talk to a professional. That is what I would say. Talk to a professional. Google, like you do anything else, what should I do with my $1 million? You know what I mean? Like you can use your resources and figure some things out, but talk to a professional. Take advice, especially on things not to do, but be sure to talk to a financial professional and know that you don't have to put all $1 million in one financial institution or one bank. You may end up deciding you want to put half of it in the bank and half you want to, somebody said invest, you want to put it into the stock market. Or you want to buy a business. Maybe you're like, I love Subway. I'm going to get my own Subway franchise, right? So whatever it is, but talk to the professionals that are licensed, right, and have accountability to you and how your money is handled. And there was something you said a moment ago that I was like, ooh, I want to go first on that one, and I forgot it just that quickly.
I can't remember. I think it was just $1 million. If I found $1 million.
Yeah, but it was just before that.
Spending money on your family?
Yeah, we're going to have to come back to me. It'll pop back in my head in a moment.
Okay, we'll come back.
I will echo everything she said, but I'm going to compliment him first because on that last round of questions, what he did for you all is everything that we were saying in Bankers Talk, he broke it down for you very succinctly. And I want to say thank you for that. Because we forget sometimes, because we work in that world, that we got to translate what we're saying. So thank you. And I echo what you just said, but what I would say, don't listen to that cousin or that brother or that auntie who always got a hookup and something for you to invest in. Because when you get money, people come out of the woodwork. Well, they got this restaurant idea and they're going to use your money for it. So that's what I say. Don't listen to people, like you said, who don't have it. Go to somebody who has it.
I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, and it's short, actually, and then if you want to add to the question, that whole being a millionaire piece, it was something that I respect Oprah and admire the businesswoman that she is, but I wasn't like an Oprah TV show watcher. But an episode that I did see, or at least part of it, that I will always remember, and I was probably 20 when I saw it, I don't know. But it was a financial topic. But anyway, the key thing is she had a guest on there, and I think maybe he wrote a book called The Millionaire Next Door. But it was about good financial advice, like sound advice for the everyday person, not somebody who came from a lot of money. And one of the things that he's talking about statistically about the millionaire next door is he was like, the millionaire next door drives either, it was like a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord, something that's an average, so to speak, vehicle, right? Not a luxury vehicle or whatever. I don't know if that's the same thing today. It may be a Ford, who knows what it is. But the point was that it's not about lavishness, right? And going back to that thing on that freedom piece, and looking at what's most important. Do I want to have my million in the bank, or do I want to drive half of it around on the street, right? So when you talk about having the money and then going broke, wow, you figure you sign this multi-million-dollar deal, or you sell your business and make, $28 million from it, you would think you should never have a problem with money. You should never be broke. Your kids should never be broke. Your grandkids should always be financially stable. But somehow it happens. They end up broke. It's like a whole ESPN special, Broke. And it was talking about professional athletes who had all these millions and lost it. So think about that. Like, where do you want that million to go? Do you want it to go for show, right? Or do you want it to be in the bank in comfort and knowing I can go take this vacation, I can go visit my family, I can buy this business if I want it, those types of things. So I think that's something too, is shaping perspective on money and how to spend it. And you see, I always point back to prioritizing and what's important to you. Because some people, that's how they want to live their life. They're like, I want to be able to show everybody the money I made. I want it to be on my hand, I want it to be on my feet, I want it to be on my back, I want my little kid to be in Jordans all the time. Okay, if that's you, but is it more important for your toddler to have the newest Jordans, or your toddler to not have to take a loan when they go to college? I'm gonna say.
I love that. One piece of advice I can give you guys, if you had $1 million right now, it comes back to what I said earlier. Become financially educated. But also then seek out, like she was saying, a professional, someone who is used to dealing with that large sum of money, right? Because that can identify your goals and what you're really trying to do. If you want to have your entire family in Jordans and in Gucci and in Prada, then there's a way, right? There's a way you can make that happen. But you need to go to a professional who's used to doing that, right? So I deal with that on a daily basis as well, not only from a financial end and making sure people have income for life, but it's dealing with my artists and entertainers and athletes. You'll be surprised, right, how many make this type of money, but they have no financial education background whatsoever. And then they also go to Uncle Junebug and them, right, and get advice and say, what did they always say, especially the cookouts? What you need to do is, all you need to do is, and it was like, Junebug, you been sleeping on mama and them couch for forever. Like, how you got this great idea, right? Or they want to go open up a food shack or something, right, without no experience. So at the end of the day, it's like we have to understand, again, that emotional aspect that comes down to the money, because you love your family, you love your parents, and they're going to come out with their hand out. But you have to ask yourself, do I want to help you one time, or do I want to help you forever? And if you want to help yourself and your family around you forever, you go get help from people who know and have been doing it for other people forever. Because guess what? You come into $1 million, you're not brand new. Millions of people have been doing it forever. You know, there's people right now making $1 million a minute right now, literally. So therefore, there are individuals out here who are skilled, like these individuals here and myself. We can help you guys out with that, but you have to be open and say, you know what? I need help. And guess what? And be okay with that, because like he said earlier, we have this I know it all culture, but I would tell you this here. Everybody has access to Google, right? But Google gives you a lot of information. It doesn't give you expertise. Because if Google had all the answers, everybody would know everything and everybody would be a millionaire and no one would go to school and we wouldn't be having this conversation now. But it's not the truth, right? So financial education, and say I need help, and be willing to help yourself now and forever.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, that was.
They said, thank you, Curtis. They love Curtis.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
So, you know, that was very powerful. So, you know, there's some people, how many of y'all like nice things? Right? So we just went over how to save it, but I have a mentor, right? And he bought a $93,000 Rolex. So I'm like, okay, but how do you get to a point to where you just go to Rolex and you swipe your credit card for $93,000? Now, it's not worth $93,000 no more. It's worth like $150 or something like that now. And he gave me these tips. Y'all take out your phones, and it's called What to Do with a Dollar, right? You can utilize this method. If you don't, it's on you. But it's definitely a method that I used. It helped me get my first apartment. And I utilize this for every goal because I like nice things, right? But I have to set a goal to get those nice things. So what to do with a dollar, you can utilize this. It says 10%. When I get a dollar or however much amount, I pay myself first. 10% of that. So if it's $1,000, I take $100 and then boom, I pay myself. Another 10% is giving. So he said, in order for him to get there, as he was, on his way, grandma, something's going to happen, all right? You just never know what's going to happen, something. He said 10% is his giving pot. Once he's done, he's not giving out no more. 25% is his life expenses. So his expenses don't pass 25%. That means his car note, his mortgage, or whatever else, insurance policies or whatever, 25%. 15%, he reinvests back into his business. So if he makes $1,000, he takes $150 and he puts it back into his business. Now 25%, this is the big one. He puts it away for taxes. 25% goes to taxes. And the last 15% is savings and investments, right? So that was the tips that I pretty much asked my mentor that I think that you guys would definitely use. Y'all got them all? Okay, bet. So let's go ahead and let's get into story time, right? Because I want some juicy stories, right? So we know y'all good, y'all got y'all career. Your daughter. Congratulations to your daughter. She's about to graduate next week. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So I want to know, right? Because I'm 21, right? So I want to know. Go back to the 21-year-old, the 18-year-old. And I want a story time. I'm going to title it When I Blew a Bag, right? Because we going to remember these talks, but we going to remember the stories. I want to know the stories of when you really messed up and you had to get out of that situation. And you got to be honest with us now. They acting like they don't remember. They remember.
I'll go with one. Anyway, it's just funny. But and maybe I'll think of something else, but it'll give them time to think of maybe a better one. So in college, in undergrad, when you're broke, I was a student. I had a job on campus, but you always got bills. And I had an apartment with a roommate, so I had real bills that I had to pay. My parents didn't pay. And anyhow, maybe it was beginning off, fall semester or whatever term was about to begin. And my dad was like, hey, I'm gonna give you some grocery money. And listen, y'all may feel this way now, but definitely when you're not living with your parents anymore, grocery money is a significant thing. And I wasn't used to getting grocery money. Grocery money meant I got, my check from my job on campus, right? Anyhow, so my dad gave me like $150 for some grocery money. And that's a decent amount now to have just for yourself, right? But certainly when I was in college, So anyway, and I decided that what I want to do with that money, there was this chick in one of my marketing classes, and she had these fly Air Max, and I had been looking at those, and they were, I don't even remember, maybe $130. And I think the Air Max 97s, but see, I didn't know it was going to be a thing down the road. But anyhow, I spent my grocery money to buy those Nikes. And yep. But I liked them, and I was rocking my Nikes and whatever. And then when I was, getting a little hungry, I just had to eat what I could. I was trying to find like the free events on campus where if you came to whatever this group's meeting was, they had maybe Chick-fil-A sandwiches or, crashing. I didn't live on campus anymore. Try to crash a pizza party at a dorm or something like that. So it was, whereas I could have had a little more cushion and how I wanted to spend my money, I was rocking my Air Maxes. Now, technically, I didn't know it then. They could have been a good investment because had I saved those shoes, they came back. Nike made them again. They had like the reflective, like silver. They were real cool. But I think I threw them away, probably 6 or 7 years later. I don't know. But that would be one that stood out just because coincidence. I was pretty good at managing my little budget. But yeah, I ended up like
starving.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, no breakfast this morning. Wish I would have kept that money, but I'm gonna wear these Air Maxes to class because might as well get some use. I'm hungry.
That was good. That was good.
Priorities.
So I told one, but I'll tell a couple more. Because I did not have financial literacy at all when I went to school. I was the first in my family to go to college. And it was a chore for me to get my mother to send me $20. Because she was like, boy, they feeding you at that school. I don't believe they not feeding you. No, you get one meal a day on Sunday. So one was the credit card, not understanding that bill was coming due at the end of the month. And when I tell you I maxed that thing out, I maxed it out. And it took me a minute to get it paid off. But I didn't learn my lesson from that. Then I got the student loan. And I forgot that refund was for me to live on, not for me to go to Daytona Beach for spring break. Not for me to go back to the South Side balling with my boys. And when I get back, I ain't got no groceries. So it took 2 times of me doing that to figure it out. This is not a good look. And that credit card, like I say, I didn't get that paid off till like my junior year. And it screwed up my credit. That's the other piece. So it was more than blowing a bag. It was me screwing up my credit before I even graduated. So I had to dig out from all of that as a 20-something. And although I had fun doing it, it wasn't fun getting out of it. So that's why I stress the education. Don't get financially educated. And don't blow your student loan refund.
Man, I have a lot of stories.
Let's clap it up for him real quick. That was good.
So coming into college, I was the first in my family to graduate with a college degree, but my dad was military. Anybody got military parents? So they could be kind of strict, right? So even in high school, I didn't get any money. I had to figure out a way to make some money. So when I went down to college, the only thing I had was a Hope Scholarship. And so I knew I had to generate money like I did in high school, which is like I had to do some type of business. And that's how I got started in the entertainment world. Well, here's a quick story when I blew a bag, right? Not made a bag, blew a bag. Okay. So you heard of student loans, right? So I didn't have any student loans. But when I found out that I could take out a loan without my parents knowing, and I could throw a crazy party, yeah, I went and took out a crazy little loan, and I was...
For a party?
I took out 10 grand.
For a party?
For a party. Y'all said blow a bag, all right? Oh, what? Lit. It was lit, but guess what? The owner stole majority of the money. I'm talking about I'm partying, I'm on stage, I'm dapping everybody up. We lit. I'm talking about it's a
admission
good time.
To this party?
Yep, admission. So admission increased along the way. So I'm like, okay, first it was free, then it was $5, then it was $10, and then you had we call them the local people, and I charged them more money. And I'm like, oh, we getting bread. So they would do what's called entertainment world. You go to a party, somebody takes the money, right? We do what's called drops. So then what happens is that you do drops. When the box gets too full, you go into the back in the owner's, office, and you do your drops. Well, the person I had over the door at the time was having a good time too. And so not knowing that every time we made a drop, the owner was in the back like. So end of the night, we excited. We like, man, we done threw 10 grand. We had this, I forgot the artist we had. We had an artist too. That's why I was extra lit. Went into the back. We doing countdown. We like, count. We like $5,000. They're like, we only made $5,000 at the door. And he's like, yep. Then we got to take $2,000 for security, and then we need our cut. And then here you guys go, $500. When I wanted to cry. Literally, I went into the kitchen with just the pots and pans. I just sat there like, what I'm about to do. But that actually helped jumpstart, me actually focusing on knowing my numbers and watching my money. Do y'all watch your money? Watch your money. Every single dime that comes in and goes out, watch your money and don't make big mistakes like I did.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify. So you spent $10,000 on this party and you made $500 that you had to split with somebody else?
I had made $500.
Wow.
So he had to pay that back. I just want to point that out. That was a loan, so you still owed $10,000 with interest. Y'all know what interest is? Speaking of financial literacy, interest.
That's why I need Biden to go ahead and cancel these student loans.
Please.
That was
All right,
about
so I'll tell you
expensive
my
as that
story.
pizza I charged.
So my 20th birthday. Yeah, I know.
Hey, we're all still learning.
I
We're
know,
all still
right?
learning.
Listen, I got it back. So, when it was time for people, I did good with my refunds and all that different stuff. I saved up. I was good. I didn't go to Miami during spring break and nothing like that. I'm good, right? But my birthday is July 4th, right? So my friends, they like, man, we about to go to LA. So I'm like, it's my birthday. I want to go to LA. So I was saving up for an apartment at that time. So in order for me to get my apartment, I had to save up a year of rent. Tell me why I blew that.
Y'all, you pause for attention on points guys are making. That was a good one.
Yeah.
He said he was saving up for his apartment, a year's rent.
A year's of rent.
Before actually having to pay it out every month. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, because the business,
That's a
it go
big
like
thing.
this. You could be making 10 this month, 0 the next month. So you save it all up. You don't have to worry about it.
Priorities. Got to have somewhere to
Yeah.
live.
My mom was on me about that one. But I never even told her this story. So, some kind of way, I get to LA, I get introduced to Rodeo Drive. I get introduced to all these different fancy places. I had a blast. I'll show y'all some pictures. I had a blast. But when I got back, I had to go grind some more. And it was like, oh my God, I just spent all my money in a weekend. And you can blow some money. You can blow $10,000 in a weekend, right? If you with the right people.
How many likes on the gram you got?
I got a lot of likes. I gained about, oh my God, I don't even want to tell.
So we can sometimes say that popularity doesn't equal profitability then, right?
That is so true.
Okay, cool.
It looked good, but I was spending money that I could have moved out of the house a year earlier, But let's do this. We almost done. We got about 10 minutes. I want to let's take like 2 questions for them. You had your hand up before we even started.
So my question that I had, I was going to ask you about OZK, but scratch that.
We'll talk afterwards.
Okay. So I have a podcast, and I want to put money into it, like really, really bad. But like you said, when you have a business, most people start their business because it's a hobby. I love talking, so I started my podcast. That's my hobby. But I don't want to put money into it, and it takes away from my podcast. So what's the best way for me to put money into my podcast and not drag away listeners and bring them in?
Can I jump in? Go right ahead. How many people listen to your podcast?
Me.
3.
It's quite a few. It's not a lot. Like when I'm people, because you have amount of minutes they listen and stuff like that.
Okay.
But right now, it's probably just I say we're gonna go with 500 people have listened to it.
Okay, perfect. So you can say, hey, hours listening and everything too, right? Here's what I would say to you. If you don't want to have or don't have the necessary funds, what service are you providing on your podcast? So I would then go look at who is my audience, right? That's listening to my podcast. If it's my peers, what do my peers like? Do they like getting their hair done? Do they like going out? And then go to those same service providers, right, that they go to and let them know, like, hey, look, my friends have listened to this many hours of my podcast. I'm live 3-4 days a week, right? I'm dedicated, I'm passionate. Would you like to advertise on my podcast? I will say and mention your name at the beginning of every show, in the middle, and 3 other times, correct? And we will also do a drop for you as well. And for that, it's gonna cost you $500 a month. But I'm gonna put you in front of the people that shop with you. And so that's just quick off the top of my head, because I know what space you're in, that you can go and get money from other people just by saying like, hey, this is my platform, who wants access to it? Because that's what I did on the entertainment side. And I just told you, 10 grand, sometimes it costs a lot of money to throw parties. And I didn't have all that capital at first, but I had the market. So I went to all these other institutions and everything. I even went to a soap company, because guess what? Everybody gotta bathe, right? And I told them, hey, look, over 3,000 kids to come to my party on a monthly basis. I can put your product in front of them. I can put a banner on the stage. I can give out samples. And they were paying me $2,500 and up every single month. And that's how I was able to elevate in entertainment side, just using other people's money.
That's great. That's great advice. 'Cause what he's telling you, what we call in the banking business, is adding value. Because you'll be adding value to the people who are listening to you, be adding value to the people that they shop with or they patronize. So that's a great concept, because when you're adding value to individuals, it affects your bottom line.
Good question.
Great question.
I got a question for you, Curtis. When you go to that party, why you just didn't go up there to Walmart, get you a couple balloons, and you set it down the table? Why you just didn't go there instead of just getting 10,000? You give us a Dollar General or something.
You're right. That's a good question, right? Because I was serious about my business and about the brand. I was really locked in on the brand, correct? I don't want you to think of my brand as a Dollar Tree and Family Dollar brand, right? That's not what I was going for, because I was in it for the long run, not just for temporary money. But then also I had to compete. So at my university I was at, it was like 8 other entertainment companies who were always throwing parties on the same night. So how do I compete and stand out, especially as a newbie, correct? To get everybody else, because you know how it goes. You're like, oh, that party gonna be what? Lame. If I said, I got some balloons and some Walmart, come on. They're like, I'm not coming. So I had to make sure I positioned my brand and my company to say, you know what? This is what our promise is to you if you come to our party, and I had to deliver on it. And that's how I established the brand, and that's why I invested the money.
Great question. So, invest in your business. Kodak got a question.
Party in LA, picture.
What's more important, 800,000 or 850 credit score?
You saying 800,000 cash, like in the bank? Depends on what you're trying to do, is what I would say. Now, I always want cash. So if somebody is asking me, Lisa, right now, do you want me to give you $850,000, or do you want an 850 credit score? I'm taking the cash. One, because I don't have bad credit. My credit score is in the good to almost very good range. So, it wouldn't make that big of a difference. But I'd rather have the cash to do what I want. But I guess it depends on what the ask is. Like, what is the goal, right? Because it still goes back to priorities. So, is it because I need to get more money? 850,000 isn't enough. Is it because I'm trying to expand my business? It would depend on the context.
And I'm gonna say both, because cash is
can.
king. Yes, you can.
You can have both.
Because if you got $850,000, if you can't figure out how to get an 850 credit score, you got a bigger problem.
Yes.
And trust me, if you at 850 sitting, you won't get an 850 credit score, so you can use whatever genius you got to get that 850 to get another 850, and you want to use somebody else's money for that. Not
Anything
yours.
better than your own money.
Yeah, no, I get this question asked a lot. So again, it goes back on context. What do you need to use it for? But also, I think people get confused because they're talking about their personal credit score, but then trying to do a business with the 850, right? So there's difference, because there's also a business credit score, correct? So I always ask, like, what's the difference? What's the context? Because another thing I say is that cash is king, credit is queen. Together, you can build a kingdom, but also your ace is cash flow. Because you also have this word that most people don't understand, and it's called leverage. And these individuals can talk about leverage as well.
And a reminder to that whole getting your house in order in the financial literacy, if these words today we've been saying, profit and loss, cash flow, having your spreadsheets, business plan, if you all don't know what that means or what role it plays in your financial well-being, spend some more time understanding that.
Yeah. And you always want leverage when you're dealing with us. When I say us, with banks. Because when you have leverage, that means that chances are you got a good business credit score, you got a good personal FICO score. So the interest rate we're going to charge you on your money is totally different. Now, if your house isn't in order, trust and believe, you're going to get that bad rate. Right. So financial education up front gives you the leverage with us when you come in looking for capital. So you don't want to come in begging. You want to come in, my stuff is together, I got my paperwork, I got my business plan, I may not have an 850 credit score, but I'm in a good range, I'm capitalized, I need a loan. And you want to make it so I can't say no. Because if I say no, she gonna say yes.
So we got 60 seconds before we get out of here. Everybody take out your phones real quick. And y'all follow this page. We'll talk. YE_foundation. Make sure y'all follow that page real quick. Y'all already got that? Okay, follow me. ITS. It's Keylock, right? Name of my business is Keylock Enterprise. ITS KEYLOCK, right?
Well, follow me too then for more tips.
I'm gonna show y'all pictures from LA, but we gotta get out of here first. So let's go ahead and let's get Curtis real quick. I'm gonna follow y'all back.
If y'all got more questions, in the future, just follow me online on Instagram. Is Real Curtis J. Real REAL Curtis, and then the letter J. CURTIS, and the letter J. There's only one fraternity. It's Kappa Alpha Psi, man.
Are y'all on social media?
I'm going to give you, I don't have a entertainment business to get the follows for to monetize, but all of you that are planning to go to college, and especially you seniors, even if you're not planning to go to college, should be on LinkedIn. Listen. That's the social media that you want to connect to for some internship opportunities and so forth. So I am my name, Lisa Tolliver. Go to LinkedIn and let's connect there. I'd be happy to answer subsequent questions or point you to opportunities, especially scholarships.
Yeah. And the same on LinkedIn at Daryl McIver.
All right, y'all stand up. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. Let's go.